on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, your one-stop shop for Seattle sports. We cover preps, we cover college, we cover pro, we cover it all. Huskies, Mariners, Seahawks, Garfield, South, Roosevelt, Petro, King County. This is where you want to listen to for all the sports that's happening in Seattle. Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo.
And your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself.
Here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio.
Every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
Love food? Here's some storage tips to keep it fresh longer. Store cut fruits and vegetables in the fridge. Place in reusable containers. Keep bread in the freezer for longer storage. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.org. Check us out on social media. Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate and Money. I'm Violeta Strash from Coldwell, Banker Danforth. And today it'll be me and our friend Vicky Navarro. Daniel, could you please send Vicky the link? I got the wrong email address before and she doesn't have the link. So I will go through my market update and then bring her on board when I'm done with that, please. Thank you so much. So everybody, welcome again to Real Estate and Money. Today we're going to talk to Vicky Navarro, who is one of our family members here at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. She's part of the team right before the show, Fil-Am Radio, and about the Filipino community and all the good things they do for us here. And wanted to bring her on board after I update you on the market, what's going on. So as usual, I have our 3 counties here that we talk about every so often. And this time I'm going to talk about the period from June 1st to June 10th. And starting with King County, we have 702 active listings, 508 are pending, and 463 homes were sold at an average of $1,313,000 between that period of time. And last year, it was $1,211,000, so it's an 8% increase from year to year for King County. Days on the market, we had 16 last year. This year, it's 17. Pretty even. Showings before you get to the listing, 9 showings last year, a couple of days less this year at 6. So people are looking and buying quickly, making offers. I know there's multiple offers going on right now. And as far as the average percent of the list price, last year was 103.5% of the list price, and this year is pretty close to 101%. The dollar per square feet. So in case you're wondering, you're trying to compare homes when you're looking for a home to buy. Last year it was $559 a square foot. This year it's $533 per square feet. And throughout all the counties, I'm not seeing the tariffs being that involved in what's happening, but I know they are or will be. Pierce County. Let's move on to Pierce County. Active listings 326, pending homes at 147, and sold between June 1st and June 10th, 220. Last year, the average price for sold inventory was $634,000, and it went up 5% to $664 same time this year. Days on the market, 23 days before there was any activities, and then 26 days on the market for homes last year. Or I'm sorry, that's for this year. Last year was 23. So showings to get to listing, we had 5 showings last year, 6 showings this year. And the average percent to the list price is 100% last year and 99.5. So pretty much 100% this year. And then the price per square feet, 332 last year, 331 this year. In Snohomish County, we have 277 homes that are active. 190 went pending, 181 sold at an average price of $890,000 this year. Last year was $875,000, so a little bit of an increase, 2% from year to year. And then days on the market, last year was 13. This year, 19 days on the market. And then showings per listing, 7 showings to get to the listing stage, and then to get to the pending stage, and then 6 days this year for showings per listing. And the average percent of the list price, 102.3 last year, 99.7, so 100% this year. Last year for dollar per square feet, $433. This year, $445. We have Vicky on the air yet? She on standby?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you on screen. I know first a big shout out to my brother Lester Alano, who is a good friend of Vicky's as well. I think he was gonna watch us today. So
I hope so. Hi, Brother Les.
I had him set up this morning.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, Vicky, welcome. And I know I've seen you on Fil-Am Radio.
Yeah.
And you have a foundation called Building Beyond Communities, right?
Yes.
And I wanted you to tell us about this. You and I had a conversation last week or maybe a couple weeks ago about what you do for the community. And I was telling you about senior housing, the things that we were focusing on for a series of episodes. And I would like to talk to you about, or tell us about, the Building Beyond Communities, and tell us how you guys are doing, what you're doing for the community. Let's start with that.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Violeta, for having me be part of the show today. It's just an honor to do what you also do in the community, and also being part of Rainier Avenue Radio team. Yeah. But here I'm mostly on the foot level groundwork. I started my nonprofit called Building Beyond Communities as of last year. I started volunteering in the community over 15 years ago. And it took my heart to, continue to help serve in that sense, and helping, making sure that there's a lot of equity in the community, providing those resources, especially in housing, and making sure that everyone is how to get housed, and how can we help people who are going through a challenge in their life, whether it is housing, whether it's employment, whether it's food, people are, needing services, early learning support, and so forth. So here I am today, is that how can, we help, especially with what you do in the community, is like people don't know where to go to start to, even think about, first home buying, right? And how does that process work? And we'll go there, like, you can tell us like what programs are out there as well. People usually just jump to an apartment, but what's the difference also investing in a home, and also, with that apartment, like what can also investing in a home do for a family or an individual in the future? So we'll pause right there. But I just wanted to say that, I host resource fairs throughout the county. I go through different libraries. I go in housing, including shelters, permanent housing, tribal areas, where we also bring resources to them, which includes like free foot clinic, free haircuts, also bring employers to help with people who need to apply for jobs, legal services, also financial literacy support, transportation, of course, like with what Brother Lester is doing, but bringing everything together. We noticed that being out in the community at public locations, we weren't seeing a lot of the people who wanted to get those services. So we go to in-housing units, including low-income community. And as we had our conversation before a couple of weeks ago with Violeta, we're noticing a high of when I go to those senior housings, that they have a lot of people who are going through rental assistance, and so it breaks my heart to see someone to go on the streets after, especially when you're a senior, that these things happen. The cost of senior apartments it's very challenging. When they say like low income or affordable housing, what does that mean to a community? What does it mean to you? Is it affordable because they have a shelter? Does it mean like, am I able to afford my bills, right? Am I able to afford my daily needs like food and everything, gas, and I think too, is like, financial education is also a key to the work that we need to be doing, to prevent certain situations in the future, so, but yeah, I just wanted to say that, and, that, me here at Violeta today is like, what can we do as, a partner? How can we outreach to the community about, home buying, what are the requirements? How can we, get an individual house? I know that there is like mortgage support, as far as if people, there is an organization that helps with mortgage if they're past due. There is a program out there, but if I want to know today, like, what can people do to get ready for their, first home? But yeah, I just wanted to share that, being here today is an honor, because I know that I want that direction for families to know, like, you can, how can we direct families and individuals to going to get their first home, and in that direction of going to an apartment, how can we help that individual? Yeah.
Well, first of all, let's back up and tell me, what communities do you service? Is it the Native Americans, mainly Filipino community, everybody?
Yeah.
All
so
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'll just say this is that I do a couple of hats. I'm with King County Public Health as one of the 22 bilingual bicultural community navigators, as a Filipino navigator, and that's also with transportation as well. But as I was working in the community, I'm like, what? There's so much services and programs that I had to open my door to all communities, right? So I serve all King County. I just got into Pierce County the last couple months.
Oh, okay.
So it's everything. Yeah, and I've just been to, like you said, tribal. I have been going to tribal residents to provide resources for the community who live in the tribal residents. I was there at Pioneer Square, so I've been to downtown shelters and everything just to provide these resources in the community. So it's all over. I even go up north, and
I know you do these resource fairs, and wouldn't it make sense maybe for me or Tina and I to come out and talk to folks who might be needing some assistance and some services? Because, first-time home buyers, there's a lot of programs for that, for not just people low income, but young folks who are just graduating from school that are needing some advice and some direction on where to go. Like my son, he is a graduate student or postdoc actually, and he's going to want to buy a home. And what do they do? And it's hard to know how to navigate through all this. And so you need to find out about the financial resources that first-time home buyers, and then down payment assistance. That's a government program, that everybody has access to if they're in need. And, say you're disabled and you need to get some kind of a house or an apartment to rent. How do you do that? Right. And where do you go to get help? And we would love to help out any individuals who are looking for that kind of assistance, and seniors, our mature family members who are saying, Mom and Dad, I need to get you in an adult care home because I can't do I can't be your full-time caregiver. I work, I have a family, but how do I get you into a program and not, spend all your hard-earned savings to move out of the house or whatever you have to do to get to that point where your loved one is in good care, or just be safe and just know that they're taken care of by others, right?
Yes.
Let me think what else. What do you think we need to do for a senior focused thing? Do you have anything, resources for seniors?
I think I like we do have Seattle Aging King County to also help with resources as well. But I think, with the cost of even like senior housing is very, especially when you think about, people who are just have the one income of SSI, and to me, when you're, just like my mom, I'm like, I want them to enjoy, travel, do things, but people are also stretching and also working at this age to make it by, and I think it is challenging out there. It's a struggle to see, that these are things that are, existing and it's happening and it's real, but it can't just be seniors. It's individuals who are also families who are struggling. And how can we, as, to me, it's like, how do we, educate our community, like, the direction of home buying, like, what can you do? What is the thing about home buying? What can it do for you, as far as lifetime, as, people may not know that, when you file taxes and stuff like that, the positives of home buying, like, you can even rent a room to make extra money, right? You can, do other things, to also.
Yeah. There's a program, reverse mortgage. It's not the way it used to be. What it is now is that, you take the equity that you have in your home, and it takes care of making your house payments. You can borrow against that equity, and you're just paying into your needs and what they're not going to, it's not going to go away. It's going to help your family members down the road to navigate through the rest of the funds. Should you pass away, right? At least your loved ones won't have to deal with that, and they'll know that you are living the best life you can. You're not going to worry about the money. You're not going to worry about any mortgages or, second mortgages, any HELOCs that you may have taken out. It'll take care of itself. And Tina, unfortunately, couldn't be with us today, but she has all these programs that can help our retired individuals have a nice future and live comfortably in their own homes. So they don't have to move. And like you said, they can, back in the day, there are like 1-story basement kind of homes. And in the basement, you have, it can be an ADU, multi-generational living is what we've seen, but you can rent out that space if it's not for a relative of yours. You can rent it out and get some income that way, and that'll help pay your mortgage or help pay for utilities and taxes. The minimal that you have to pay for. It can help if you wanted to do that, and there's assistance for that as well, and we can help you navigate through those, situations if you choose to do that route. But
yes, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. But so if people also need resources regarding utility assistance, we do have great partners who are out there who may be, like ways how you can save money. Like, we have to think about, ways, even though you're at home, what can we do to, also save money on electricity. There, we do have a partnership with PSE to also do presentations as well, and learn about ways where you can save money in your home, investing in certain times of, whether certain things that you can do at home to also save money on your electricity. But I have a question for you. So with the process of, of let's start with Vicky right here and just say, hey, I'm interested in buying a home, but I don't know if it's affordable for me, with just my one income. What would you tell me? And where would you want me to begin? And what should I do?
Okay. First time home buyer, Vicky?
Yes.
It would be okay. So I would send you to Tina right away. She's our mortgage portion of this show, and she's been my go-to gal for all kinds of loans and different programs. And I always send my buyers to her or another lender. Let's say there's a language issue, so I would send a Vietnamese gal to another mortgage. If you were Vietnamese, I would send you to a Vietnamese-speaking mortgage lender. It'd be easy to navigate that. Okay, so I need you to be pre-approved. So because before we go out to look for a house, you need to know how much you can afford. Tina will look at, she'll send you an application, you fill it out, she'll figure out your credit score, your history, your job history, and just find out a few different things, financial things on you, and then either scrub your finances or get a better credit score. Sometimes she does that for me too, for individuals that, and then she'll tell you, okay, Vicky, it doesn't matter that you're a one income household, it's just you. But, we had a show before, a couple of shows where we focused on women and how strong they were on getting homes. They have more homes than single men, and they qualify for more in a lot of cases. And so don't ever worry that you're a single income household, because you could probably afford something in the 500,000 range. You just need to know that you should be working at least a couple of years, so a little history on your job situation, and then make sure your credit score is above 620 minimum, and then figure out all the different things. So there's a lot of factors that go into getting approved for a loan, but once you get that approval, then you and I can go out and look for specifically that amount, because if you go over that amount, we start looking and say you found something in the 700,000 range. I love this house, but oh, sorry, you don't qualify. I would rather get to the point where you've qualified for, so say 500,000, and then we look for $500,000 homes, and then you'll find one that fits your needs. Go through a priority list of what you're looking for and where and all that with me, and at least your heart's not going to be broken if you find something that you really, really love and then shoot, can't do it. So she will make sure to put you at ease, give you the confidence to move forward, know what kind of program is out there for you, because there's so many, not just first-time home buyers, down payment assistance programs. There are healthcare workers, first responders, teachers, different programs for all these different categories. And and you don't have to worry about not being able to afford something. You will be able to afford something. What it is, she will know. At the end of the day, it just takes a day, and it's not going to be a long process. And then you and I will work together longer, because what you need to look for, I need to help you find your dream home. That's my tagline, making your dream home a reality. So is there like some kind of workshops or anything that maybe I should read upon, or get some more knowledge before buying my first home? There are first-time home buyer classes that if you're interested in that, I have mortgage lenders that offer those classes to folks. And if you have parents who are in need of homes too, or family members, you can all go together and you help them, right, with the language or whatever, assure them that it's okay. And we get families going into classes, because sometimes in our community, the Filipino community, it's multi-generation, right? Your mom's going to, dad are going to live with you, or grandparents are going to live with you. And so everyone needs to understand, and everyone is probably all working to make things, easier for everybody. You can probably get qualified for a lot more with co-borrowers. Yeah, but there are classes. So I could send you to a class, and that, chances are they're always free.
That's awesome. This is good to hear, because especially like, the process and how to navigate buying your home. Usually, like I said, in my community where I usually are on the ground, is like people are in apartments and don't know how to start to even get in their first home. And so I would love to, how can we, work together and, get their family home. It's a great, and people don't know it's a great investment. Like, people don't understand why, and when you're in an apartment, there's no cap of the landlord. I'm just saying this out of my heart. Like, you may pay rent like $1,500, and your year contract is over, and so they boot you up for another $300. So where are you going to get the other $300? You haven't got a raise yet. You're still on the same income out in your work, and so and this is where we get the challenge out there, and people fall behind on their rent. And so we want to make it affordable for these families, where they don't have to worry about that extra $300, because when you're on a that $300 means a lot to the individual who's
Absolutely.
trying to make it work. So just FYI, people, that's what happens when you are in the department.
There's
right?
the song. I can't believe it's over.
Yeah.
Vicki, tell us really quick how to get a hold of you for people who want to know, and you and I will talk offline about other stuff.
Yeah, so you can find me on Building Beyond Communities, Vicky Navarro. I do have my own Facebook page, but yeah, we're also looking for volunteers who want to help around with me at resource fairs. But we do have also a partnership with to do food distributions every first Saturday of the month in Renton. So if you guys want to join me and just go out and help people, we have so many ways where we can make work together to make the dream work, and also buying the first home with our team here with Violeta and Tina. So thank you so much for having me here.
Yes, thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you all for joining us today on Real Estate and Money. Violeta Strash from Coldwell Banker Danforth. See you next Tuesday, 2:30. Bye-bye.